Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is MrYorkiesWorld, and this is the long-awaited 787-800 video. We are on the ground at the moment at gate Bravo 32 at good old Denver, or KDEN. We're going to be travelling today to San Francisco with UAL606, so United 606, and this is going to be the first flight using the 787 on the channel. It's an absolutely gorgeous aircraft. I am extremely excited to bring it to the channel. I've got a paper-based checklist that I'm literally going through at the moment. We've already set everything up in terms of like the pre-flight sort of stuff from a cold and dark state. I'm literally just going to set up the flight directors and stuff. Everything you're about to see may or may not be the way that you are meant to do it in this aircraft. However, I am learning very, very slowly because it's very similar, but it's also very much different in its own way. So again, what you see me doing might not be exactly what I'm supposed to do, but you can see the emergency lights are on. We can switch on the window heat switches. We can set seatbelts on. Probably not required at this stage yet, but we'll do it anyway. Now I switched those cabin temperature things to the 10 o'clock position, and we could switch on the packs as well. I'm not sure whether it really matters about the 10 o'clock position on the temperature, but I've watched a few videos, and the person I watched did that, so I decided to just write that down on my little checklist. You can see that the MCP and everything is very, very similar to the 777, sorry, the QNH is 2991 today. Everything's in a very similar place to what it was in the 777. So we can get started with some oxygen. We can test that. Been the first time I've actually tested the oxygen in an aircraft in quite a while. Flight instruments and heading and everything, we need to get clearance for that, so we'll ask Pro ATCX.
Bravo 32 with the ATIS request clearance. United 606. Cleared of Kilo Sierra Foxtrot Oscar via the Romeo Oscar Charlie Kilo India 3 transition Delta Bravo Lima departure route and then as filed. Climb and maintain 1000. Expect flight level
1000
within 10 minutes after departure.
And the runway we're going to be using is 16 left, and the heading is 172 for 16 left, so we'll stick that in. This is going to take a while.
Departure, climb into 1000, expect flight level 390, then 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.
There we go.
Squawk 5755. Altimeter.
Right, so the next step, obviously we've set the initial altitude and we've also set the heading and everything up, so we can mark that off on the checklist. Passenger signs has been done, MCP has been done. We need to get the takeoff speeds, which we will get once we've set the route up. Right, I am so excited to bring this to the channel. It's an absolutely fantastic aircraft. I've done a few test flights in it, but this is the first flight on the channel. So, KDEN to KSFO, execute that. It's a little bit different setting things up, but for the most part it is near enough the same, so it's not that much different. So 16 left is a departure runway. Our flight number is UAL606 today. I will eventually do some long hauls as well, as in like Heathrow to Perth or something like that, like a massively long haul. I'm just getting some information from the dispatcher for this flight, and it's very difficult because here you actually have to use these little sliders. You can't put in the exact amount of fuel, which is a bit of an issue, really. I'm hoping that Qualitywings do something about that. We'll use 53% there and 53% there. That should be okay. It's slightly over what we need, but there's not much I can do in terms of exact figures. So the reserves today are going to be 7.06, believe it or not. But yes, I knew it was going to happen. 7.1 is what it's actually going to put in. 390 is going to be our cruise altitude, so nice and high. Cost index, I'm literally going to put 200 in because I've no idea. I've heard that you're supposed to put anything over 200 in the 787, but I don't know whether that's the case. Right, so takeoff. We're actually going to be using flaps 15. and we'll work out the centre of gravity. 6.00 on the trim, 137 is the V2 speed, and if we just get some wind information, so 201 at 10 knots today is the wind. The V2 is now 137, so if we put that into the MCP, 137. I love the background noises that are going on, like the little like safety videos and stuff that they do in the real life. You can hear the sort of automated thing going off there. So departure, we're going to be using the Rocky 3 departure from runway 16 left. There we go. We're going to be using the DBL, is it? Transition. We're not going to set up the arrival just yet. It's only a 3-page route. It says 3 hours and 6 minutes it's going to take, approximately. And then some of the pages on FlightAware say like 3 hours and 37 minutes, so I've no idea what's going on with that. We'd probably make it in less, to be honest, but there we go. We're going to do our regular 50, 100 and 150 mile radius rings around San Francisco. And that is it. Lovely cloud shadow. So there's a little bit of bugging going off with the shadows and like the lighting and stuff like that. But aside from that, we're all right. So LNAV and VNAV can be armed. The passengers are boarding, and it is literally now just a case of waiting until the passengers have been boarded. So what I will do is I will leave you for a few seconds. To me, it will be a few minutes, but for you, it will be a few seconds. Just while the passengers look at the aircraft, it is absolutely gorgeous. Just while the passengers board, and I will be right back with you guys in just a few moments, and we will complete the rest of the pre-flight procedures and stuff. Okay, so the final box is literally just being boarded onto the aircraft. And then we should be cleared to proceed with the rest of the pre-flight procedures and stuff.
Baggage handling is complete.
There we go.
And the aircraft is clear, sir.
Right, so we can close the cargo doors.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you.
All the rest of the doors are closed, that's fine. We just need to remove ground power once we actually get round to that. So hydraulics, we can sort those out. It's very, very similar to the 777 again. Beacon light can come on. The fuel pumps themselves, they can come on. Again, I'm going off of basically a pen and paper version of what the checklist should be. So, auto throttle's armed. I always create like a list on Word for every aircraft, like a checklist and what to do and stuff. So if you do see me following the same procedure every time, that is exactly why. So anyway, we can request startup and pushback.
United 606. Request startup and pushback.
United 606. Startup and pushback approved.
And that's all been approved, that's fine. Right, so remove ground power.
All laboratories are equipped with smoke detection systems and federal law.
Ground. United.
We can also request tail right today.
Request taxi to parking.
United 1104. Taxi via Delta Foxtrot.
Again, I absolutely love like the background noises. The immersion is fantastic on this aircraft. I'll show you in just a few moments. There's a few things that are absolutely brilliant.
United 1104.
All the displays and stuff as well in this aircraft are customizable. You can put whatever you want, wherever you want.
Just waiting for some apron traffic while the duct's position.
Look how beautiful this bird really is.
Brake on, please.
Parking brake's already on, we don't have to worry about that.
Ground 333 is cleared off the runway. Request taxi to parking.
333.
Right, so anti-ice and all that lot we can mark off because we don't need to do anti-ice.
To gate Alpha 32.
We'll do the recall after we've been pushed back.
Lock in the gear.
Trim is 6, so we'll put that in just a second. But yeah, there is so much about this aircraft to see. It's absolutely beautiful. Definitely worth the wait.
In position, bypass pin is inserted. Apron's now clear, ready to push. Now release parking brakes, please.
And that's the brakes released.
Commencing push.
Another good thing, you can start both engines at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do. 1 or 2 and 1. There we go. And 2 and 1. I don't think I've got the engine page visible, which is weird because it usually is. But nevertheless, you can hear the engines roaring into life, if that's even a saying. Absolutely amazing. There is quite a bit of aliasing at Denver, which I'm not sure why. I can't really do much about it. I've tried setting the anti-aliasing to 8 times MSAA or 2 times SSAA, neither of which make much of a difference. I can't really put it any higher because then the frames go down the pan. So, but look at the scenery regardless. It still looks absolutely fantastic. Got another United there to our right. Oops, that's another feature, by the way. This one is absolutely amazing. Look at that. The seat moves forward and back depending on, obviously, how tall the pilot is, or how short their legs are, or long their legs are, I suppose. Not really a problem for us, but there we go. Now, there's the engine page. It should have been up to begin with. I don't know why. It usually is, but...
American 163.
We have got a master caution light. We'll sort that out in just a few seconds.
American 1634. Roger.
And I'm going to try not to cut when it comes to taxiing as well. We'll try and taxi all the way there to get a view of what Denver really looks like. Because remember, this is some new scenery for the channel as well. So I'm trying to make the most out of the scenery I buy. But there we go. Beautiful. Any minute now, GSX can stop pushing us back if they so wish.
Push now.
There we go.
Set parking brakes, please.
So parking brake is set. We can go to the flight control page. Just to set the trim, it needs to be on number 6. But we can do a left and right first, like a forward and back, and obviously a left and right on the rudder. And what I will do for all you guys who love to see it is another left, full left, and a full right with a wing view. So that's trim 6 we need to set. When I was pressing the buttons to begin with, I didn't think that they were doing anything, but it's because it takes quite a few seconds for it to actually start working in this aircraft. With it being such a big aircraft, it does take a while. So checklist, we've done the recall, flight controls have been checked, and ground equipment. We'll say that that's clear even though it's probably not. Flaps need to be set to 15. At one point I was setting them to 5, and then I thought surely in the 777 you set them to 15 or 20. So why would you only set 5 on the 787? So I decided, no, we'll set to 15. And turns out I was right. They do need to be set to 15 as well. So at least I got it right in the end. Absolutely lovely wing view. Again, I apologise about the shadow quality and stuff. We can switch off the APU because we no longer need that now. Turn-offs and the taxi can come on.
Left is clear, right is clear, disconnecting now.
I've noticed as well the landing lights tend to take up some frames, and I don't know why that is. It's probably something that they're going to fix at some point, or it might be to do with P3D. But the frames go down the pan as soon as the landing lights come on.
Runway 16 left.
Via Bravo, November, Golf, Foxtrot, Foxtrot 12, to runway 16 left, United 606.
Right. So we've been cleared to start taxiing. Add a little bit of power. You really don't need any power, hardly at all. I mean, I personally like to get it going pretty fast, so I do add quite a bit of power. But for example, when you are actually taxiing, once you go in, you can completely idle the throttles, and it will still keep up the speed that you want it to keep up. You'll have to keep like hitting the toe brakes, or if you've got a joystick, hitting those. We've got a Frontier over there.
Hold your position.
But yeah, the actual thrust of the engines is that powerful that it propels the aircraft forward, even if you've not got the throttle like sort of increased to any sort of extent. But nevertheless, we're on our way now. Denver scenery is fantastic, and so is San Francisco, but it's just a shame about the aliasing. I mean, if it had like a 4K display, I suppose that the aliasing would near enough be completely gone. But unfortunately I don't. I've only got 2 standard LG monitors that are about like 26 inch or something like that. They're not 4K, so
Hold your position. Holding position.
eventually, obviously I will get round to upgrading those, but for now they do the job. I can't really afford stuff like that at the moment. I've spent a hell of a lot of money as of late on the simulator, as I've said. So I don't really want to spend any more. I want to try and get my money's worth out of this first.
Southwest 1680. Taxi via Delta Foxtrot.
Don't know what's happening with the weird cockpit shadow. It's only got the cockpit shadow there, not the rest of the aircraft. But
Southwest 1680.
now there is an aircraft here that's literally going to be in our way. It's another United. It's a 737 by the looks of it. Don't know what the hell's happened to the lighting.
Clear the active. Request taxi to parking.
Now he's either going to stop in a ridiculous place,
or
or I don't know what's going to happen, but
United 1104. Hold your position.
he's been told to hold position. Now that's a bit daft because we can't actually go around him really without taxiing off of the taxiway. I'm not going to go off the taxiway, so unfortunately it's going to have to be a close call between 2 United aircraft, one of which is a lot smaller, although it doesn't seem that small, really. Let's take a wing view and just see how close it is. There's a better one. And right over the top of the cockpit there.
United 1104. Continue taxi.
Now he asks him to continue taxiing. I'm going to switch TA and RA on now. I know you usually wait while you go on the runway, but what the heck.
Request taxi to parking. SkyWest 5048. Taxi via Delta Bravo.
I have actually been thinking about doing some live streams. Those of you who don't know, the only reason that I don't do live streams and that I don't do like VATSIM and stuff like that at the moment is because I have a 1-year-old son and I also have a partner, and obviously family time comes before YouTube. So as much as I love creating content and I love flying virtual planes around the virtual skies, obviously family has to come first. So possibly in the future, once he gets a little bit older and stuff like that, and we've got more time on our hands, we can probably do some live streams, possibly even at night time. If that's in the near future, we could do some at night time, but it's just sort of, I don't really know what I'm doing yet, so I'll try to fit some in when I can, but other than that, we'll be sticking with the full flight videos and some other cool content and stuff, whatever I can chuck out there. I've had a few people say that they're actually happy that I am one of the only YouTubers that they know now who actually sticks to YouTube and doesn't go on Twitch all the time. I don't know why that is. I mean, Twitch is alright, but I just prefer YouTube. It makes sense to do everything on the same platform.
SkyWest 5651. Taxi via Papa Mike Zulu to Gate Bravo 15.
We're very, very busy today. We can hear ATC messages happening literally every 2 seconds. Which is not surprising because we are at Denver. See, I've got the throttles completely idle at the moment, and all I'm doing to control the speed is braking, and that's all I need to do. Got some nice grass over there. Now the aircraft in front of me is slowing down a little bit, so I'm gonna. That's an Airbus in front as well. You can tell by the wingtips. So we're just going to slow down a little bit. I think I mentioned this before, but you can tell the AI traffic, when they turn, it's very robotic. It's not very smooth, and I'm sure they could do something about that. But you know, just to add to the sort of immersion, because obviously on VATSIM, it would be a lot smoother. So for those of us who are not able to use VATSIM or, you know, don't have the facilities or what have you, it would be nice just as a tiny little tweak to add some more sort of immersion into it. Now we are getting a little bit close, so I'm going to just back off a little bit. Just let him get out of my way. We've got a southwest over there.
Hold your position.
Holding our position.
He's holding, that's fine.
1680.
And now we can start to catch up with the Airbus. Just a little bit. Now I know I said that I wasn't going to skip, however we've got an incredibly long taxiway. Literally it's just going to be this for the next 10 hours near enough. So I'm going to skip ahead and we can get to the runway a lot quicker. For me, I'm just going to have to stay like this for like 10 minutes, but for you it'll be instantaneous, so I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so it's been about 3 hours taxiing. Not really. So, you can see that the Airbus there is literally just about to line up. And of course, we will be lining up straight after him. As soon as he's gone. On runway 16 left.
Holding short of runway 16 left.
Delta 1693. Line up runway 16 left.
Lining up runway 16 left. Delta 16.
We're going to try, that's what I mean by the shadow. Look at the weird shadow there, that's really strange. We're going to try our best to swing this bird around so that we can stop at the threshold. I should have gone a little bit further forward before turning. Took a wider berth, but I didn't. But nevertheless, parking brake set. It's very, very important in this aircraft to set the parking brake, because if you don't, you will start rolling forward. So the landing lights have been switched on, and you'll be able to see in a second that the frames will dip. As soon as we turn onto the runway, we're going to have, well, not very good frames. You can see them now, actually. You can probably tell the difference when I'm panning around and stuff. So he's been cleared for takeoff, the Delta there.
Delta 1693.
That's what I mean by the aliasing as well on the runway and stuff like that. It's not very good. I'm hoping that P3D do something about it, like Lockheed Martin. If not, then it will literally just be a case of waiting while I get a 4K display, which should take away the aliasing. So parking brake released. We're going to be lining up. I'm going to wait a few seconds before actually taking off, because that Delta has only just taken off, and I want to try and keep some space in. We've got all the lights set up ready. And as we turn, you'll be able to see what I mean by the frames. They're not terrible, but they're not great. There we go, you can see, yeah, suffering a little bit of lag there. So we've been cleared for takeoff, we can start the clock, and I am going to just watch out for that Delta up there. So spooling up a little bit, I think we'll leave it at that. That looks okay. By the time we've taken off, we should be fine. Now, from the test takeoffs that I've done, it's incredibly difficult to pull back on the stick and actually get this bird off the ground slowly. So do bear with me. It's liable to take off like a rocket. Still haven't managed to master that art yet. But here we go. V1. Rotate. Yep, that was a little bit too quick, and that was even faster. There we go. We're up in the air. This thing takes hold of everything. It literally just takes itself into the sky. Look at that. Now I'm going to be careful not to stall it here, because I always end up making the mistake of lifting the flaps up a little bit too early based on what it says on the PFD. We're looking okay. Not perfect. Flaps on the way to 1. A little bit foggy. But apart from that, the sky's looking gorgeous. Yeah, you see we're in the red tape already, look at that.
Climbing to flight level 250, United 606.
Right, so autopilot on. Autopilot's engaged, we can get the load taken off of our shoulders. 250. And there's the cabin announcements happening again in the background. I absolutely love that effect.
Departure south
And with that, we're up, we're away. Flaps are on the way up. We can switch off the turn-off lights. Landing lights can come off already because we're just literally going past 10,000. Passenger signs to auto. We forgot to do the flaps thing, but the flaps are already up. I don't know what's going on. This is before takeoff. Right, that's all completed. After takeoff's completed, the next one will be the descent, but we don't need that yet. I'm going to stick this one onto the legs and this one onto the progress page. And already, guys, we are at 11,000 feet. As I said, this aircraft literally takes itself away into the sky. It's an absolutely beautiful aircraft to fly. I need to get used to that takeoff because the normal amount of pressure that I put on the joystick is different. It's a similar aircraft, but the takeoff is very, very different. But look at that. 12,000 feet, coming up on 13. Can zoom out now. And that is the first takeoff of the 787 on the channel. Everything's looking good up here. Absolutely can't wait to get over to San Francisco. This is going to be the first landing that I've actually done in the aircraft. I've done some test flights, as in like test departures, but I've not actually landed the aircraft. I've literally just been getting used to like the checklists and stuff like that to get the aircraft off the ground. The rest of them, from what I've heard, should be pretty self-explanatory. Basically the same as the 777. So we should be alright, but look at that, the gorgeous United Airlines 606 in the 787-800. Another cabin announcement. I can see myself spending a lot of time in this aircraft. Right, so 14:58 and it's now 13:21, so it should be 14:58 by the time we actually reach San Francisco. So literally all that we can do now is sit back, relax. In a few minutes I'll switch on some cinematics, which they're not going to be amazing, by the way, because obviously there's not much scenery in between Denver and San Francisco, so I do apologise. But the cinematics might not be as amazing as what they usually are. But on the other hand, they might be, because this is a brand new aircraft. So it's always fun to test it out and see some amazing shots. Love the wings, love the engine design and everything. But anyways, let's jump into those cinematics and I'll be right back with you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so it's a little bit later on in the flight. We're at 27,000 feet is what we've been cleared to. We're not actually at that altitude just yet. We are beginning our descent. Nothing on the recall, that's all fine. So recall notes, auto brake, we're going to be using auto brake 2. We don't really need anything stronger than that. I'm going to head over to EFB in a few seconds and bring over the approach that we're going to be using, but again, auto brake 2, we don't really need anything stronger than that. So ILS runway 28 right with the Archie approach is what we're going to be using, 111.7 and 283, and we're going to be using a decision altitude of 212, which is going to be difficult to program in, because you can't actually program in 212 into the barrow. It has to be like a solid figure, so like in a multiple of 10, so see what I mean? So we'll set it at 210, it's only like a 2 difference, and it also syncs with the first officer side, which is also pretty impressive. Right, so flaps 30 at 136 is what we're going to be using. Apart from that, let's just nip Navrad 111.70/283. So it's all programmed in terms of the ILS approach. And that is all she wrote, basically. We can zoom out a little bit. There's nothing further that we can do. We're going to try and just descend using the vertical speed, just so that we're at that right angle. Again, we're going to be using this approach. I didn't actually show you the actual approach, but that is it. That's the approach plate there that we're going to be using. Archie, so we're heading towards Archie, and then we're going to go down all the way into the airport. So anyway, we're still in the cockpit. Loving the aircraft so far, absolutely loving it. You can see over here we can get rid of that screen to do with the fuel. We don't really need that. I've not really been using the EFB that's actually built into the aircraft very much. I probably need to get used to doing that, but nevertheless. I've learned how to arm the speed brake, which is something I was worrying about, because whenever you click it, it doesn't actually arm the same way as it does in the 777. But if you press shift and /, which I did try before, but for some reason I'd actually unassociated it with a key. I delete all my key combinations apart from the ones I need, so I was sort of stuck not knowing what to do. But nevertheless, I absolutely love this aircraft. The engines are so detailed, like the fans and stuff like that. They really are interesting. So depart, we might as well just go and confirm it. So we're using the Diamond 3 for ILS 28 right. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm just going to say Diamond. Not much to see out of the windows. As you can see, I did say that there's not much here. It's sort of a boring sort of flight in terms of like the cinematics. But look at the engine. This is what I mean. It's so detailed. The PMDG doesn't really catch that. It does, but not as good as this, I don't think. Like the design and everything. Even on the end of the wings. So anyways, guys, I will catch up with you in a little bit when we are ready for our final approach. Okay, guys, so we are just coming out of 8,000 feet now. We're having to use the vertical speed to do quite a bit of a rapid descent. We've got some more scenery now as we come into KSFO. Speed brake's armed. And you can see that the scenery again is a little bit nicer as we get closer to the actual airport. Speed 220. Absolutely lovely, look at that. It is a little bit windy, but that's not really going to pose much of a threat. Look at that view. Somebody is going to have to make a compilation of the amount of times I say look at that, because I have no idea. I'd be amazed to find out how many times I've said it in the history of this channel. 5,000 feet. Again, there's no major rush, but I do like to be at the right altitude at the right time, and because it's a big aircraft, it obviously takes a little bit longer to sort of manoeuvre and stuff like that. So if I can avoid last minute things by sort of speeding things up a little bit, I will. So we're dropping down at about 1,300 feet per minute. Glide slope is coming in, and what I probably will do is arm the localizer and stuff, Because once we get established, it really doesn't matter whether, as long as we're on the ILS, it doesn't really matter if we're a little bit high. As long as those diamonds are in the right place. So again, 4,000 feet now, and you can see I'm trying to get that green banana is what it's called, I think. Weird name, I know, but on the PFD you can see it, and on the eFish you can see it as well. A lot nicer in terms of scenery. As we're just coming out of the clouds now. Glide slope should be coming in properly in just a few minutes. Localizer's been armed. And as soon as we start the turn, I will go ahead and activate approach hold as well. Look at that. Waves, the water, the buildings, the clouds, everything. Can't beat it. As I always say, this is why I love simulation so much. 210 with the speed. Just check the init ref, it is 136 with a 5 knot increase. Due to the speed, that's the 5 knot increase due to the speed. So speed brake is armed again. We might get some nice replays as well. I'll have to remember to do that. Seem to be spooling up a little bit. That's just to maintain that 210 knots. 3,000 feet. Just going to try and get that descent going. In fact, no, if we switch approach hold back on, you can see the diamonds are in the right place now, so the aircraft will automatically just descend on the right profile. On the other hand, though, I do want to be a little bit lower. There's no real... As I say, I could have just left approach hold on, like I am doing now, and it would have done it. It would have got there eventually, but there we go. So we've not been cleared for gear down just yet. Gotta wait while we contact tower. And if we go down and have a look at our flaps, you can see that we're at flaps 5, which is perfectly fine, because we are under 230 knots. I could set flaps 15, but I'm going to wait until we actually drop the gear. Look at that view. And that one. Here we go.
On final, runway 28 right.
United 606. Slow to
Final approach speed.
to 9.92. Clear to land. Runway 28.
And we're being cleared to land.
Final approach speed. Altimeter to 9.92.
So we can go ahead and flaps 15. Drop the gear. Nice gear view there. What an amazing view that is.
Slow to 140 knots.
Slowing down to 140. United 606.
We've been asked to slow down to 140, but we're actually going to be under that very shortly. So nothing to worry about.
Clear to land runway 28 right. Altimeter to 9.92. United 277.
United 2.
Here comes the speed coming back.
Speed to 180.
Increasing to 180. United 277.
We are using the speed brakes a little bit, which I probably shouldn't be doing, but who cares? Flaps 30 now. Speed brake is armed again and down. Flaps coming down to 30. Can't see anything at the moment, but in a few seconds, when we come through this fog, I'm going to put those extra 5 knots on just to 141, just to make sure that we're okay. Right, so landing checklist is complete. The gear's down, the flaps are set. Land 3 is what we're going to be using. Auto brakes set, spoilers are armed. This is what I love the most. Look at that scenery. That is amazing. First officer's view there, and a wing view. Got some traffic in the background. Waves on the shoreline. My goodness. And at 1,000 feet I will go ahead
Increase speed to
and
180.
disengage.
2180, United 277.
Speed's looking nice.
Tower Alaska 311, holding short of runway 01 right,
Alaska 311. Line up runway 01 right.
lining up runway.
There's 1,000
01
feet.
right, Alaska 311.
Disengaging. The aircraft is now mine. Right, let's try and make a decent landing. It does handle very, very similar to the 777, but it obviously has its differences, as I've already explained. The engines provide a lot of power, but it takes them a few seconds to actually to provide that power.
Alaska 311. Wind 280 at 9er. Runway 01 right. Cleared for takeoff. Good flight.
Runway 01
Getting
right,
blown around a little bit.
Alaska
It should be okay.
315.
We're still on profile. I'm happy with that.
Tower, Redwood 11.
Love the view coming into San Francisco.
Runway 28 right.
Redwood 11. Clear to land. Runway 28 right. Altimeter 29 right. 902.
Clear to land, runway 28 right.
2 reds, 2 whites.
902, Redwood 11.
Continuing.
200.
Tower United 277. Declaring
Looking good on the pappies. We're perfectly fine.
7. Roger. Climb to 3000. Contact approach control on.
Let's try not to slam it into the ground.
35.
Climbing to 3000, 120.35. United
Bit of rudder.
277.
And we are... Whoa! What's he doing? Got an aircraft crossing on the opposite runway, which I didn't even see because I was concentrating that much.
United
Nevertheless,
0.
reverses are green.
Gate is right. Contact ground control on 121 point.
Manual braking.
121.8, United 606.
Auto brake disarmed. And our gate is right. And I've got a funny feeling that GSX is going to try and send us, or Pro ATCX is going to try and send us to a cargo gate or something like that. I hope it doesn't, because it would be highly unrealistic, since we're not a cargo aircraft. But nevertheless, we can take the rapid exit coming up on the right.
United 1786. Start up and pushback approved.
Just slow down a little bit.
1786.
And we can take this turn in here.
Ground United 2.
But that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. Welcome, we will have a look at some replays in just a few seconds. Welcome to San Francisco with UAL606. It has definitely been a fantastic, look at that, a fantastic flight for me. Love the view. Love the view on that side as well. And we shall have a look at some replays.
Sky West 5766. Request taxi. Sky West 5766. Taxi via Alpha to runway 01 left. Via Alpha to runway 01 left. Sky West 5766. Via Alpha to runway 01 left. Sky West 5766. Ground, United 768, request taxi. United 768. Taxi via Alpha Bravo Foxtrot to runway 28 left. Via Alpha Bravo Foxtrot to runway 28 left, United 768.
Ground, Southwest 1779er. Request taxi.
Southwest 1779er. Taxi via Alpha 1 to runway 01 right.
Via Alpha 1 to runway 01 right. Southwest 1779er.
So I've got to say that I'm happy with that. It looked a little bit rough, but at the same time, when we saw the one from the gear view, it was okay. Parking position 2, terminal 1. I've no idea where that is. And EFB is showing... In fact, no. EFB says that it's literally just up here on the right. And that looks like a cargo parking. I really hope it's not. It's not going to be gate 1, is it? Parking? No. Well, let's just go through. So no, that's parking number 10. It's not going to be in there. They're gates, not parking places. Next page. It's not going to be any of the gates, I don't think. What about this one? It's got 6 suitable parkings. No, number 3's there, but not number 2. I actually don't know what we're doing here. I think we might just have to forget GSX on this occasion and just taxi there anyway. So start the APU. Stop the clock. Auto brake off. Bring up that checklist for just when we turn into the gate. We can have a go at just sorting out the MCP a little bit. Flaps are on the way up. Auto throttle can come off. We can zero all these numbers, or zero them as far as we can. So that's 360. Altitude's back to 0. Right. And with that, the flaps are still on the way up. And with that, we might as well release the parking brake and make our way to the gate. So, it is again just down here on the right. What I am going to do though, I forgot to switch off the lights and sort them out. So, taxi lights need to come on, strobes need to come off. There we go, that'll do. Yeah, so it looks like it's like a cargo sort of place, this. It doesn't look like there's many passengers getting off. That might pose a little bit of a problem, actually. But that's where it's told us to go, so that's where we're going to have to go, I'm assuming. So it's here in the west parking, or northwest, I think. Right, where is it? Because I can't see any lines for it, and I'm probably going to go straight past it. What's the gate here that we're coming up to? No, we've gone past it. We've completely gone past it. So you know what? I am literally just going to park in whichever one. GSX will never know. There we go. This is definitely cargo. You can't tell me that this is for passengers, surely. Nevertheless, we'll get the gear view up and we'll try to park as best we can. Probably going to be shocking. Yeah, gone straight over the line. Parking brake set regardless. Right. GSX is also saying that it's too small, so I'm going to have to go and make it big enough, aren't I? So add-ons, GSX, customise aircraft positions, there we go. Simple as that. I need to stop the engines, I should have known that. Bit of an amateur mistake. So engines off. We can of course switch off the fuel pumps. Passenger signs, we can sort those out. External power, we'll connect that. Oops, no, they need to keep on, they're alright. Right. Request deboarding. And we're going to use United Airlines, which, there we go. Right, so, nevertheless, welcome everybody. We're going to switch the hydraulics off. Welcome everybody to San Francisco. Beacon light can come off as well. This has been... don't know where that's come from. This has been an absolutely fantastic flight. For me, anyway. There are going to be plenty more of these flights coming as well. I'm trying to open the doors. I don't know whether it's working or not. There we go. The entries need to be sorted as well, because GSX don't go to the right door. But nevertheless, here we are, on the ground with United 606 with another successful flight. This time, the first flight in the brand new 787-800. It's been absolutely amazing flying this aircraft. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, leave me a like or a comment. If you want to support me, you can head over to my Patreon page for as little as $1 a month, or you can donate to me in the description. Either way, thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.